right, here we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. A happy Friday, January 30th to everybody. And as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. A lot to get into here. The Niners just got great news from the National Football League, and this really changes how the Niners go about their offseason. The process here that we're going to discuss is how San Francisco got more cap space from the NFL. We'll also talk some compensatory picks in addition to that. I do want to begin here, though. Get your Dub City gear right now. Thanks to our design guy, Arnold. Him and I teamed up a couple of weeks ago, and we designed these hoodies and these shirts. For those of you not familiar, if you're a diehard Niner fan, the real ones know. Anytime the Niners pick up a big victory, Fred Warner always goes up to a nearby camera and he says, Dub City. So we made that into a shirt. So rep the Niners, support the show, get your Dub City shirts and hoodies right now at chatsports.com/Dub City. That is chatsports.com/Dub City. The black image that we showed you is the hoodie, and the logo is right on the chest. And then this shirt, you see it right here for yourself to my right. All right, let's begin here. The National Football League is an unbelievable business model. And the growth of this league from a monetary standpoint is insane. We are going to see another salary cap increase for the NFL this upcoming offseason, which is going to change free agency and the offseason for perhaps all 32 teams across the National Football League. The NFL informed clubs today it is projecting a major 2026 salary cap increase. The 2026 cap is now expected to be between $301.2 million and $305.7 million. That is the total amount of money that a team can allocate toward its roster for this upcoming season. And from last year to this year, that is an increase between 7.88% and 9.49%. And this is nothing new for the NFL. If you've been watching this league over the last 15 years, you have noticed that the brand model has started to trickle worldwide, and the power of the NFL has really been on the uptick in the United States. Business is booming for football, and it's not just the NFL, it's also college football as well. But for the purpose of today's show, of course, we're talking about the National Football League. And this is a near $100 million salary cap increase from just 2022. It is now 2026. That's how quickly this league has grown. And this is a great graphic here. This is a look at the salary cap increase by season across the NFL. As recently as 2013, in the grand scheme of things, and in the grand scheme of human history, it's not a long time. So in 2013, the salary cap for all teams across the league was $123 million. In 2014, it goes up by $10 million to $133. The year after that, another 10 and change to $143.28. 2016, a big jump by about $12 million up to $155.27. In 2017, another 12 to $167. In 2018, $177.2. 2019, $188.2. In 2020, $198.2. You will notice there that the cap from 2020 to 2021 went down by about $16 million. That was because of COVID. The revenue league-wide decreased because fans couldn't attend games for the most part. In 2022, it then skyrockets back up to $208.2 million. And then look at what has transpired the last 3 years. This has also helped our business at Chat Sports grow because a lot of you continue to support our content and the San Francisco 49ers Report. 2023, $224.8 million. 2024, that's a massive jump right there by about $31 million, up to $255.4. Last year, we were talking about the same thing, up to $279.2. And if you've been watching the show for a long time, especially of late, I've continued to tell you, the salary cap for 2026 is going to be north of $300 million. Spot on with that prediction and projection, 301.2 to 305.7. Now, I failed elementary algebra in college at Temple University. It's a lot of numbers for me, and I know for you, it's a lot to absorb. So let's just talk some football here and the Niners component of this. How does this impact the San Francisco 49ers? Let's dive into that. So general manager John Lynch said last week during his end of the season press conference, we're going to have more flexibility to make moves this offseason. Why did he say that? Because last year was kind of the reset for the Niners. Remember all of the free agents who they lost, who frankly all got big money deals with other teams? Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, paid by the Denver Broncos. Charvarius Ward got a bag from the Indianapolis Colts. Aaron Banks got a huge payday from the Green Bay Packers. The Niners lost a lot of really marquee players on their team. Deebo Samuel traded away to the Washington Commanders. San Francisco in 2025, they won 12 games and a playoff game despite eating over $100 million in dead money. What is that for those of you who don't know? They were paying more than $100 million to players who were not on their 2025 roster. So now that the Niners got rid of some of that dead cap money and they ate that, they're going to have more money at their disposal now. And that was John Lynch last week before this announcement. So now you look at the Niners offseason profile here. San Francisco currently, without these projections taking place, because right now they're not official yet, this will happen when the new league year gets underway in March, the Niners have $23.3 million in cap room. That's 13th in the NFL. It's not a bad spot to be because you can cut players, trade players, release players to free up additional cap space. So that $23.3 million is now going to increase pretty sizably with this increase league-wide. And the offseason needs for the Niners: center, left guard, wide receiver, defensive line, safety, and linebacker. Those are the biggest positions that I think the Niners need to address this upcoming offseason. We flip the page to this. This is a look at my dream free agent targets, players who I would love for the Niners to bring in and at least look at. Of course, they're not going to be able to sign all of these players, but if they can sign one or two, perhaps even three, with some of this added cap flexibility, I think it makes them a much better team in 2026. Tyler Linderbaum at the center position. Former Baltimore Raven, we'll see if he goes back. Right now, slotted to be a free agent. He would be a huge upgrade over Jake Brendel. Much better center than Jake Brendel. That is a move right there that helps you close the gap on the Seattle Seahawks. Alec Pierce is a big-bodied, fast wide receiver who has led the NFL in yards per catch the last 2 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts. He's still a young player. He embraces blocking, no character issues. In Kyle Shanahan's system, because he's done some nice things with Shane Steichen, whose offense I also like, he's balled out. And we'll see if Indy decides to put the franchise tag on him. But if he hits the open market, I would love him as a Niner. If the Niners want to get faster this offseason, they have to. Rashid Shaheed is one of the more electrifying players in the NFL. What a trade by John Schneider at the NFL trade deadline. Kyle Pitts is a fascinating player. He's still young. He's about to be 25 years old. He was a top 5 pick out of Florida, and at that time, everybody thought he was a bona fide superstar, and that was a guaranteed thing. His career with Atlanta has certainly been up and down. The highs have been high. The lows have been low. I think his best football is ahead of him. He hasn't had the best quarterback play. He hasn't had offensive scheme stability or continuity. You put him into Kyle Shanahan's offense, I think that he could pop off. Now, he's not a blocker, but if you let Jawan Jennings go, and Jawan Jennings gets $20+ million in free agency, Kyle Pitts can pretty much be a slot wide receiver while still playing George Kittle once he comes back off that torn Achilles. And then along the defensive line, John Franklin Myers is a guy who helped the Broncos lead the NFL in sacks this past year, and I think the Niners would really like him. He flourished under Vance Joseph, the Broncos defensive coordinator, but I think the Niners would like him because he could play defensive end, he could play defensive tackle, and what's constant? He gets after the quarterback. Here are other avenues in which the Niners can create additional cap space. If the Niners were to cut these players pre-June 1, they can open up an additional $16.4 million, and these moves are pretty feasible. None of these moves are crazy, right? Jair Brown, you cut him, you open up $3.5 million. He's going into the final year of his rookie contract. The one player who I would like to see back for sure, is Bryce Huff. But zero dead money if you cut him and you open up $5.3 million. Jake Brendel going into the final year of his contract. You sign Tyler Linderbaum or you draft a center early. You don't need Jake Brendel on this team. Free up the $4 million. That goes to your rookie right there and you get better. D. Winters, $3.6 million. The dead cap charge is like $30,000+. He's a solid player, and the Niners definitely need to bulk up the linebacking core. But if you want to open up some money for a player who this time next year is probably going to walk, that's a move that you could also make. As far as my perfect Niners offseason plan, I would love for the Niners to make these following moves. To replace Robert Saleh, hire Jim Schwartz or Raheem Morris. Target those aforementioned marquee free agents who I talked about just moments ago. You're not going to sign all of them, but pinpoint which ones you want to sign. Draft Trent Williams' replacement, who in the future can play left tackle. But in the meantime, in 2026, if Trent Williams does come back, hopefully he does, that rookie can develop and get his career started at a position at left guard where there's not as much pressure as left tackle. Let him ease into that. Field some offers as far as a Mac Jones trade. You want to send him to the Minnesota Vikings, who fired their general manager on this Friday because him and Kevin O'Connell had disagreements on the quarterback spot? If you can get a second-round pick and maybe a third on top of that for Mac Jones, that might be too good of an offer to turn down. The Niners must get faster and more explosive on the offensive side of the football. And then maybe the most important thing, get healthy. Look at the strength and conditioning staff. Look at how you weight train. Look at the head athletic trainer. Do some research and studies on the electrical substation, how you practice, how you train, how you recover, how you stretch before practices and games. Get to the bottom of it and stop being one of the most injured teams in the NFL for more than a decade. These problematic injury trends go all the way back to 2013. You thought we were done with some of the good news from the NFL? We've got more for you. The Niners are projected to get some very valuable compensatory picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, which is coming up at the end of April in Pittsburgh. Aaron Banks, this last offseason, signed with the Green Bay Packers. He got like $17, $18 million per year from Green Bay. He was not good. It was a good move for the Niners to let him go. Now the Niners are projected to get a fourth-round compensatory pick back for Aaron Banks. Charvarius Mooney-Ward signed with the Indianapolis Colts. He got about $20 million per year, something in that realm. Now the Niners are projected to get a fourth-round pick back for him. Talanoa Hufanga got a bag from the Denver Broncos. Had a great year for that Broncos defense. SAN-FRAN-CISCO, with him going to Denver, projected to get a fifth-round pick. So the Niners in free agency, with this news that we gave you, set up pretty nicely. The Niners looking ahead to the NFL Draft, sitting pretty as well. They'll first be on the board round 1, pick 27 overall. Their second-round pick, 58th overall. Their third-round pick at 92. They have a fourth-round pick at 127. 2 projected fourth-round picks. Those are comps that we just talked about. A fifth-round compensatory pick. So right there, that is 7 picks for the Niners, all within the first 5 rounds. Don't forget to give me a follow on social media, by the way. In addition to giving you fantastic Niners coverage right here on YouTube, I'm always talking about the Niners on my social media pages. I'm on X, Instagram, TikTok, at Chase_Senior. Just started that TikTok page in November. We're already past 10K. I'll be in San Francisco for Super Bowl 60 week right on Radio Row. Plenty of great content to come next week as well. Don't forget to give me a follow on Facebook. You can find me there, Chase Senior Chat Sports.